What is going on, lads? Jack here, and welcome to episode 6 of the Pentagon Challenge. And as of last episode, we are with Beijing Institute of Technology. Now, if you missed the previous episode, quite a lot happened. I strongly recommend you go watch episode 5. Wasn't the most entertaining episode, but it's one that kind of tied up some loose ends, and will explain why I'm now in China. But anyway, since the previous episode, we've played a total of 8 games. In these 8 games since Wuhan, we've managed to win 1 and draw 3, which, considering the team only had 2 points after 10 games of the season, you know, to get that half-decent response is nice to see. And that was without bringing in any transfers. So in China, the transfer window opens on the 18th of June, so I've just had a load of new players come in who I sorted out when I first came to the club. So I'm just going to review a few of these games. So we'll start off with the game against Wuhan. Please bear in mind that Beijing IT are the weakest team in this division significantly. All these games are very, like, when I'm playing a defensive philosophy and I'm trying to defend well. The problem that I had was that I wanted to hit teams on the counter-attack and get a little bit lucky because we haven't got the strength and depth of other teams. But I didn't have 2 centre-halves capable of really holding their own. I'm trying to rectify that in this current transfer window. I am going to have to make some more signings during this summer break that the Chinese season has. The break lasts about 40 days. I managed to get a lot of players in. I'll cover transfers in a second, but first we'll look at this game. So we went 1-0 down in the first half. Second half, I believe they scored to make it 2-0. And I knew that the job at this club was going to be hard. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and Wuhan are a good team in our league. So to lose 4-2, there was certainly some positives to take from it. So as you can see, we're trying counter-attack in football with that big hoofball up. Doesn't work for us there. I believe they score here, just a well-worked goal. But as you can see, our 2 centre-backs are like donkeys. They just don't seem to know what to do. They kind of just stand there a bit confused about life and what they're actually doing on a football field. They look like a fish out of water, basically. So it's been pretty tough going since I took over the club. That said, to record the first win of the season definitely helped morale. We drew our last game 0-0. We drew another game 1-1, and just to get, you know, a few points on the board is definitely kind of boosting confidence. But we are scoring. It's not that we're not scoring, it's just that we just need to add a bit more quality and depth to the squad. So my primary objective during the transfer window was to really get some strength into the team. I decided to mostly strengthen the defence and the attack, and kind of neglect the midfield. There wasn't really any midfielders who I feel are good enough to do a role that I need them to do in the club at the moment. I brought in a few defensive midfielders. However, overall, you know, strengthening the defence and the attack was my priority, and that's exactly what we did. So, that was the 4-2 loss. That was my first game in charge, where I had no assistant, no coach, no nothing. We then, 2 games later, got a good away draw against Songjian, who are in about, I think they're in 10th or 8th place in the league. They're in that mid-table area. They're not a bad side. So it was a really well-hard-earned and well-won point. Matthias Alonso, who has been, who was the star player when I came in, has been really instrumental, getting a few goals. He wasn't scoring before I came. I don't know what his recent form's like, but he's definitely, you know, getting himself on the score sheet, which is good to see. But they took the lead here. Well-worked goal. Our centre-backs just don't know what day of the week it is again. You'll notice that a lot of the goals that we concede come through the centre. And then we're able to score on the counter-attack with Alonso, which has been our main strategy. Alonso wins it, gets support from the left and right. Ball's worked fairly well by our midfield, just creating some space, and the ball ends up at Alonso's feet, and it's a really well-worked finish. But this was a good 1-1 draw. I knew that we needed to get some points on the board to begin with. So to get a draw in our first 3 games, although it doesn't sound like a lot, it was definitely very important. And then on the back of that draw, we then went to Shenbei, and we got a good home 1-0 win. And it was against the runner play, if I remember correctly. It was against the runner play in terms of possession, but we created chances. So this was a really good point for us. Alonso on the score sheet again for us. He's been one of the best players at the club. I mean, when we were scrolling through the players, last episode I showed a few of the player stats. He was the real standout player. And he's definitely come into a bit of form now, which has definitely helped our performances. He's not scored as many, I don't think, in the last few games, but really just to get off to a good start at the club and get some wins has seen a great improvement in our performance. So that was the 1-0 win there against Shenbei. We then got a draw against Chongqing FC, which was on TV away from home. It was another well-won point. Alonso on the score sheet again for us, and another good game where we went 1-0 down and we fought back to get a point back, and it's that kind of fighting spirit that we're going to need to see going into the latter games of this season. So they took the lead just after the turn of the first half, so going into the second half, ball gets worked in here. Our two centre-backs just aren't marking and can't block the ball. And that was a disappointing goal to concede. It's the kind of one which I'm hoping we can stop. I've got to look at centre-backs though. I think I might have brought in one centre-back. I've had about 20 players join the team, there or thereabouts, so it's kind of hard to keep tabs on who's come and what, because I only had a day with all these new players. But that was that 1-1 draw. That was another good result for us. Looking at the other results we had, we lost 3-1 to Shenix, who are top of the league. We then went and lost 2-1 in the FA Cup, which is not a bad result, and it leaves us, able to focus on the lead. And then Zonji, we drew 0-0 away to them, and they are our relegation rivals. So with the points that we got, it's seen us off the bottom of the table. We were on 2 points, and now we're only 5 points away from safety, which is a really good sign to see. There are 13 games left of the season, and we can definitely try and get safe here. I have faith in the team to do a job. Looking at transfers that we bought in, we've been very busy. So these players had already gone out of the club when I came in. And signings from here downwards are ones that I brought in, I believe. Let me just double check this. Maybe they're not. I'm trying to work out where the players are that I started bringing in, because I don't want to miss out on some players that I've brought in. He was already there. Yan Lei. Okay, I think Yan Lei was the first player I brought in. He is going to be playing as a stopper for us. He's not got the best defensive stats, however, compared to our other centre-backs. He's got some good strength about him. Very well rounded off. Not a good player by this league standards, but a good free transfer nevertheless. We have Nicolas Ibanez, who, thanks to my experience managing in Argentina last season, I'm able to attract Argentinians to the club. Now, there's a rule in the league that we can only have 4 foreign players in the starting 11. Because Alonso's Uruguayan, that means I've got 3 slots left, so I decided to bring in 3 Argentinians. So this is Ibanez. He's a well-rounded off player. Good finishing, good composure, good off-the-ball stats, fairly decent pace, so hopefully he can bag a few for us. We also have Tiang Yung-hong, who we got for £3.5 thousand. He's a good right back for this league, well-rounded off, and he'll be a good player for us going forward. We also have Bulbuena, who is a centre defensive mid, because he's got a good tackling, marking and determination, as well as I guess bravery, aggression. He's not got the best speed, but he has decent stamina. He's not got the worst physical stats in the world, and he's going to do a job as a defensive midfielder for us this season. He's got the good areas in the defensive stats that we need for in this league, so he'll be a good player holding for us. We also have Luo, who is another free transfer. We got him fairly cheap. He's just a pretty fast player, can come on late on in the game and give the opposition something else to worry about. We also have Miguel Alba, who is a really good attacker, another Argentine player who I bought in over the break. He's got really good stats for this league in terms of physical speed, creative attacking and technical. I'm not sure what role I'm going to be playing him in yet. Still kind of getting to grips with the team and learning who I've actually got at my disposal in terms of players coming in. Because I signed a lot of these players when I first came to the club, and they had to wait until the 18th of June, which is when the transfer window opened. We also have Huang, who is another free transfer from CG Youth. He's just a good 20-year-old, has some pace, has some attacking stats, he'll be a useful player. And then Li Kui, who is another centre midfielder, really good player, decent physical stats, decent speed, decent creativity, and he's certainly got a role to play in the centre of the park. So where these players slot in is as follows. I'll probably fiddle around with these a little bit still. So we've got a fairly decent team now. I still want to improve the centre of defence. As you can see, Liu Yong isn't very good. We've got Fu, who is a fairly decent player for the league, but we need to look at just adding a bit more strength and depth to the defence, I believe. So that's that. Looking at our staff members, I brought in a load of staff because if you can remember last episode, the previous manager had ran away with all his staff members. So at the moment we've just got an assistant manager, 3 coaches and 3 scouts. All are on 1-year deals, and we need to stay up this year. I believe we've got enough about us now. In the players we've got to stay up, it's just a case of proving ourselves. As for tactics, the tactic that we are running most is a 4-3-3, as shown here. We're playing with the diamond at the back. I need to sort out roles and stuff because new players have come in, so obviously they have their own preferences. So players like Ibanez prefer playing as an advanced forward. I think Alba's a deep lying forward here. So it's just about us getting the kind of right balance of players and getting the roles sorted. But other than that, guys, I'm going to cut the video off here. Hope you enjoyed. I'll probably do the next episode with 5 games left of the season, so you can really see how things are shaping up for us. But other than that, thank you for watching the video as always. Yeah, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. See you later, guys. I'm out.